You're listening to Hidden Roll, the podcast where we introduce you to the brains behind your favorite toys, games, and all things play. Before we jump into this episode, we'd like to give special thanks to Pop, peopleofplay.com, the one-stop hub for all toy and game inventors. Without them, this podcast would not be possible.
You are listening to Hidden Roll, the podcast that introduces you to the brains behind your favorite toys, games, and all things play. I am artist, engineer, and game inventor David Yakos.
And I'm game designer Branson Faustini, and together we get to interview the people who invented the world of fun.
And today we've got a guest all the way from Montevideo, Uruguay. I'd like to welcome Marjorie Spitalnik. Thank you for joining us.
Yay, that's awesome. Thank you.
So, as I mentioned, you live down in Uruguay. You're an inventor, an entrepreneur, a single mom ninja. You're a business owner and now an activist who has launched a toy line called Little Rebels. And today, I'm excited that you're going to be sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly behind launching a toy company. So again, thank you for giving us some behind the scenes, what it takes to start a company today.
Thank you so much for having me. Such an honor for me. And I love the intro though, like single mom ninja, right on.
I've got kids and I watch my wife work and I know it takes some serious moves to keep them in line. Well, speaking of kids, let's, before we jump into the whole creation of the business, that good, the bad, and the ugly, what were you like as a kid? Were you born like starting little businesses? Like, what was that? What was it like growing up?
That's a really good question. I guess I was like, I'm a single daughter as a single mom. So I used to play a lot by myself and try to like imagine situations and scenarios. And one of the things, like, I remember I used to play a lot with Polly Pockets and I loved them. But one of the things that I adore doing was I would take out, like outside the house on the backyard, a big desk that I used to have with a typewriter on it, like a big phone, those with cord, remember that you had to dial up? Okay. And I would spend like the entire afternoon just pretending to type something and answering calls for, I don't know, whoever it was, like the president. Hey, are you available? No, I'm sorry, I'm not available today. So, and I would spend the entire day like just pretending. And every time I had to go with my mom to some office or something, and it was a typewriter there, the first thing that I would do is jump into the typewriter. So I guess somehow, like, this is pretty much what I do today. I have my mug, I have my phone, and I have like the modern version of the typewriter. Exactly. So yeah, I guess I had like something going on there and I didn't know yet, but probably I was born as a businesswoman, a little businesswoman.
That's awesome. So how do you get into the toy and game business?
So by accident. That's like the first question.
It happens.
I always loved toys ever since growing up as well. Like I remember going into the malls with my friends and my friends will go to shop clothes and I was at the toy store. Like, and they would look at me like, what the heck are you doing there? And I was just playing and touching and getting to know all the new toys. And I'm talking like I was already 18, 20, 25 years old, like I wasn't a kid anymore. So I guess toys were always a big part of my life. I love playing Legos. Actually, when I got married, the topper from my cake was a Lego couple. So I guess there was something out there telling me like, hey, you belong to the toy world, but I had no idea at the moment. My background and all my degrees and everything are in PR and communication, so no related to toy and no related to entrepreneurship. But I do have a daughter. She's 14 now. And I remember that when she was around, I guess it was 5-6 years old, she came to me with a drawing that she made. And she asked me to transform that drawing into something real. First thought was, okay, let's go digital and create something online for her. And then something hit me and I said like, no, okay, again online, like everything's online. I don't want her to sit down in front of the computer for hours. So, and this is a fun story. I went online to look for a seamstress to make that drawing into a plush toy that looked just like her drawing. Of course, I cannot sew anything. So I needed like a pro people doing this. So I went online, I found a girl and I asked her, okay, I have this idea. Is this possible? Can we try to do this? And she was like, yeah, well, we can try. So, and I can share pictures after of the very first one because it's the creepiest thing you will ever see. But my daughter loved it. So I guess 2 days later, I got the plushie looking just like my daughter's drawing. And I remember the look on her face when I gave her that teddy bear was like, she was completely on awe. Like, I cannot believe something that was in my mind actually became something real. And that's when I understood how powerful what I've created at that moment. And then I posted a picture on my Facebook. That picture went viral. And before I knew it, I had an Angels Club investor here locally asking me, do you have an elevator pitch? And I was like, a what? Like, no, I don't ride elevators. Like, I live in a house. I had no clue what they were talking about. That was not my journey. Like, I had no clue. And so before I knew it, they started to train me and they put me into an incubator. And when I remember, like, advertising was way behind me and I was all the way in this endeavor that was called Te Dibujo, which in Spanish, it's something like I will draw you. It's like a game of words. And I started like that on the toy world. I spent, I think, something around 5 to 6 years building that business before launching Little Rebels.
Nice. So there's a lot of entrepreneurs who start with their elevator pitch and then they hope to go viral. But what was happening to you is you were having fun trying to get your daughter's imagination into her hands.
Yes. And I think that's the key, actually. Like, people always ask me, like, you do what you do because you want to like make money, or do you want to become a millionaire, or what's your goal? And I'm like, no. Like, I don't even think about the money. Of course, I need to pay my bills, but I've always done everything that I wanted to do from having fun. And I just wanted to quit. Like, I remember there's one night in my head that it's like, I cannot let that go. When I still used to work at the advertising agency, it was around 1 a.m. in the morning, and I was talking with my client over the phone. And he was fighting for a TV commercial. He was at 1 a.m. in the morning asking me to produce a TV commercial to be on air next morning at 10 a.m. And I was like, this is crazy. This is not going to happen. And he kept fighting me. And I remember I hung up the phone, super angry, and thinking, like, I'm not operating on a kid here, like open heart surgery. I'm not saving anyone's lives. I'm just like trying to sell you the super duper reaper freezer that just came out yesterday. Like, what's the value on what I'm doing? It's not fun. It's not valuable. It's just like, I did not like that at all. And that was like my aha moment, number one. I could not keep doing what I was doing. And that's when I decided to go all the way into the entrepreneurship world.
That I guess that fire and that passion to have your own business, start your own business, that ended up leading to some different opportunities. Did it not when it came to schooling? Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, totally. So advantages of not knowing what you're doing. First off, because everybody, when you're like conscious of what's going on around you and which things are at risk and which not, you may be more careful when you make a move or when you apply to something. When you have absolutely no clue what you're going to do or what you're doing, just like me, all the rules, they don't matter. And I apologize in advance if my English sometimes it's not my native language, so bear with me right there. So I remember I was scrolling on Facebook and I saw an ad from the US State Department. asking for entrepreneurs with an idea. And I was like, yeah, well, sure, let's apply. I thought that was a scam, but still I wanted to apply. I was like, yeah, let's just try. I'm not going to lose anything. Like, I'm not sharing financial information or anything that it's important. So I applied. That ended up to be something called Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative, which was a program that ex-President Obama launched back in 2016. And I was selected among 4,000 people to spend a month and a half in the US being trained by like the biggest CEOs, government people, like working in big companies. I moved for a month to Detroit. Then I won a pitch competition in Detroit. And thanks to that, 3 days later, I was traveling to Peru to meet Obama in person. So that was like life-changing experience. And by the way, I came back and I got divorced. Those kind of things can happen to you. So watch out. If you're happily married, try to not apply to all those kind of things. Of course, I wasn't happily married. But it was so moving. Like the entire experience was so, I felt like I finally found my reason why in living. And it opened my mind to so many things that I'll be always thankful for that. And I think my first endeavor mission was to provide me with those opportunities so I could actually learn and grow and be prepared for what I'm doing right now. And that was the very first mind-blowing experience that I had. Like, Obama, what? Like, I have a selfie with Obama. Seriously? Like a selfie. Like, we were like this. And you can see the entire like Secret Service moving around us, trying to like take him away. And I'm like, no, don't go. Let's just take a picture.
That's one of the secrets of not knowing what's okay or what's normal. Yeah,
exactly. You don't know what you're at risk for.
Yeah.
You just don't care. You just go ahead and do it. I always say I tend to ask. I tend to say I'm sorry rather to ask for permission.
That's probably the way to do it. that's the entrepreneurial spirit. So this,
I guess so.
So this program ended up taking you into some schooling as well. It wasn't just the pitches.
So, and this is the juiciest story you are about to hear. So prepare yourselves.
Oh, good.
So that was 2016. Then 2018, 2 years later. My biggest dream as a little girl, by the way, as a business little girl, was to attend to an Ivy League university in the US. I was born in Brazil, so that was something that was way out of my league, at least on my family and everything. It was something that I never thought it was going to be happening. And then, like, as an adult, be able to actually access one of those universities, for me, it was like a huge deal. Not only that, but I got a full scholarship to attend Columbia University, which was insane. And that was thanks to my endeavor. So it is a program on the business school that is like an MBA for entrepreneurs, specializing in different endeavors. So you go in with your endeavor and you work out the entire business plan and the MBA and how to grow and everything. And that's like the main goal of the program, to make sure that you work with the best CEOs. Like, we met a bunch of CEOs. We traveled to Europe. We went to IKEA to meet with the CEO of IKEA, Happy Socks. I don't know. I met so many cool people that it's like mind blowing. Except, and here's like the cue moment of this. So all the companies that went with me, they had a lot of money. Like, they were selling like crazy, and they had like, the revenues were over $1 million. And I was doing one plush at a time. So you can imagine that it was like, my revenue was nowhere behind theirs. And then around August, so that program was from January to January, and I had to travel back and forth to New York. And the rest of it was online. So when I was back at my home around August, a newspaper called me, like a local newspaper. And they say, hey, yeah, is this Marjorie? Yes, this is she. Are you the founder of the Dibujo? Yes, this is who I am. Oh, okay, so I'm writing you because we're about to release a note, like how do you say a news? How do you say in English? An article. Thank you. About entrepreneurs that are no longer doing what they used to do, like that just their business didn't went well. So we just want to tell your story on why did your business went bad. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm doing an MBA in the US at Columbia Business School, thanks to this business. Like, trust me, I'm doing great. I may not be selling a bunch of plushes, but like, as far as I'm concerned, like the ebook is very much alive. Thank you very much. But I can tell you off the record that I've been working on a new idea. And then I told her that after years of going through my daughter's textbook and seeing how they're always talking about big men and their inventions and what big men did for the world, and nobody was mentioning women. And I started to asking her, sweetie, do you know who Marie Curie is? Do you know Malala? Do you know? And since she was like, no, I have no clue, no, I have no clue, no, I have no clue, I decided to do something by myself. So I told her that story, and I sent her, like at that time, I only had one picture of one sample that the Chinese factory sent me. And it was like the worst sample ever. It was a very ugly plush, by the way. And I said, okay, I'm going to send you this off record just so you know that I'm also working on this. So I'm not an entrepreneur that doesn't do entrepreneurship anymore. I'm all the opposite. And then I jumped on a plane and I went to New York because I had classes in August. That was like 2 days difference from the moment she called me and the moment I landed in New York. The moment I landed in New York, my phone, of course, was off during the entire flight. Once I laid him up, it was like full of messages and voicemails and everything. And I was like, what the hell happened? Like I was off for 10 hours. What happened? And I had like a bunch of messages saying, how can you not tell me that you just launched Little Rebels? And I was like, what? And then I had a message from the US State Department asking me if they would tweet about my new endeavor, if I would have inventory to be able to supply the demand that it's going to generate. And I was like, what the hell are they talking about? What new endeavor? And then, and only then, I found out that that initial call that I had ended up being like the cover article for the newspaper. And the title was, Uruguayan entrepreneur launches a new line of dolls inspired by iconic historic women named Little Rebels. And the picture of the factory right in front of it. And I was like, oh my God, this is insane. Like, what the hell is happening?
There you go, going viral before you have your business together again.
But I was like, I was on the plane. There were no business. It was not like, it was not even a business at the moment. And I was like, okay, so I can do this. That's okay. That's okay. I've done it once. I'm going to do it twice. Let's chill. I walked in Colombia and I explained the situation to the director of the program. And I was like, okay, so this is what's happening. I've been trying to make the ebook work for the past 5-6 years. It's not scalable. I don't have funding. Like, this is not going to happen to it. Like, it's time to pivot. And I hope you come on board with me. But this is happening. Like, this doesn't even exist, but clearly there's a market asking for it. So this is market opportunity right here. Can I finish my MBA with Little Rebels instead of Tebuco? Yes, of course. Great. Are you sure? You cannot change your mind after. Are you sure? Yeah, sure, no worries. We'll put you with some mentors and everything. Perfect. Following 6 months, I work with the best mentors ever. Like there's a big brand, a Brazilian brand that it's called Natura. I think they're in the US as well. So the CEO of Natura was my mentor. And we worked close together on developing the other models of dolls, because I only had Frida Kahlo at the moment, like the ugliest one. And I had no clue on how I was going to do this. So we came up with 3 new models. We landed a deal with the Malala Fund, and a bunch of cool things happened on those 6 months. Then November 2018, we had a call to see how everything was going. And before the dissertation, I'm sorry. How is everything going? Were you able to work something out? Were you able to create a business plan? So I pitched everything that I've been doing and everything that I've been working on, super excited because I was like, dude, I got Malala on board. Like, she doesn't even know who I am and she's on board. Like, I was super excited. And he looked at me and it was a Zoom call. I will never forget that moment. Well, this is, and I'm not going to swear here because we're not podcast, but you can insert all the bad words that you want here. Nobody will ever buy this. Like, it's the worst idea ever. This is not what you came into the program for. If you don't come back here in January with your original idea, you will not get your diploma. And I was like, are you kidding me? Aren't you the one that back in August told me, yes, go ahead. This is an amazing idea, and put me all the mentors and all the resources and training me for me to develop this. And now I'm showing you that I have everything developed, and you're telling me that if I go with this, I'm not going to get my diploma? Yes. And by the way, I don't like the name either. It's not original, Little Rebels. There's a bunch of Little Rebels out there. And I was like, this guy is freaking kidding me. So I panicked, of course, like everybody, because I had like 2 months to work on something that takes you around 6 to 8 that I did already, but with another endeavor. And I said, okay, so I'm not going to stop Little Rebels, even if this guy is telling me to stop it. I will keep working on Little Rebels. And at the same time, I will put together what he will love to see on Teribuco, even though I know I'm not going to do it anymore. Because I knew deep in my heart that Teribuco was not going to try. So I did that, kept working forward with Little Rebels. And then January 2019, New York City, I went there and did the dissertation and presented all those big numbers and all those fake numbers that, of course, you want to see. I'm going to show you all the fake thing you want to see. It's not going to happen, but I will show you what could happen if I had one of the Shark Tanks behind me, maybe. Here's what's going to happen. An hour before the graduation ceremony, he calls me into his office and he said, you know what? I be thinking, and turns out that Teribuco didn't succeed as well as we wanted to, so you're not going to get your diploma. I was like, I'm sorry? Is this a joke? Like, let's go back. So I went back and literally stayed step by step of the conversation that we had from August to November. And he was like, yeah, but you didn't reach the sales that I was expecting. And there's a whole background story to that I never talk about it because I don't have proof. But at some point, I'm pretty sure he was mad at me because I was a woman succeeding on something that he didn't want me to succeed. But since I don't have a proof, like, I usually don't talk about it. And then crying my eyes out, like I never cried in my life. Like, and there's something that it's super exciting because when I get nervous or really mad at something that I feel it's not fair, I got so, how do you say this in English? Impotent, I don't think that's a word. Let me think about it for a second. But like, I feel the despair and I start crying my eyes out. Like, I cannot control it. And I was so mad at myself for crying in front of him that I started crying even more. And it was like, I just kept crying and crying and crying and crying. And I remember walking in the ceremony and all my co-fellows were with their little hat and everything, and they're throwing the hats in the air, which was something that I've dreamt of doing ever since I was a little girl. And I was on the other side of it, just taking pictures. Coming back home without my diploma after doing everything I was supposed to do and even more. So that was a heartbreaking moment for me. I came back, I fell in a harsh depression. Like, I spent the following 3 months lying on a couch. The only thing that used to like make me move was I had to feed my daughter. So whenever she came back from school, I will get up, cook her, give her her dinner, and then go back to the couch. And like that, literally 3 months. I think I maybe had taken, I don't know, 3-4 showers in between, but not that much. I had no strength to doing anything. It was like completely heartbreaking. And I never thought something could get me like the way this got me. It was like somebody was shredding all my biggest dreams and my biggest expectations for myself and for what I was supposed to do. Like he was literally saying to me, you know what? All the hard work you put on this, it's not worth it. Like you're not worth it. And I started to see myself as a woman that was not worth it of anything. It's so hard to speak in English sometimes.
Oh no, and you're doing great. And it's an amazing battle. And when you're talking about your daughter not knowing of even these female heroes in history, there's a reason why there's been that pig-headed thinking through a lot of history that has carried through and squashed the idea of that. And your great story. As you're a little rebel, like fighting your way through this, contrary to what somebody deems worthy as a dissertation. Like this is real stuff. So I would like to tell me more. Like so, as you're, that any business owner, not just business owner, anybody with an idea that has felt squashed, has felt like defeated at some point where you just don't want to get up. So you gotta be able to, you obviously have continued to fight through that. Like, tell me more. How did you get through this?
It was like, so there were two things that I knew deep down myself that I couldn't keep going like that much longer. First, I had a daughter and she needed me. And as a single mom, like she really needed me. There was me and my dogs. Like nobody else could actually be there for her. My dogs tried, but they didn't succeed that much. And the other thing was, deep down, I knew that Little Rebels was something that was very much needed. And I was not ready to give up on that yet. Just because some theoretical, because he's not an entrepreneur, he's just a dean, a theoretical dean. He never actually walked through the entrepreneur shoes and got all those rejections and everything. So he speaks from theory, not from experiencing things. And that's when I said, you know what, I can't go with this anymore. Like I need to actually stand up and make my voice heard. And I thought like, there's so many women out there that went through worst and they were able to overcome that. So did I. So I reached out to a therapist that he's specialist in hypnosis. And I went, and that was like the best decision I have ever made, because I was on therapy already, but it wasn't getting me any further. Then I started having like those heartaches. And I got exams because I thought that I was actually having some cardiac disorder or something like that. And it turns out that I was having panic attacks. And I had no clue they were panic attacks because I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm panicking. I was literally feeling I'm gonna die. Like my heart aches, I cannot breathe, I'm dying. So I got to this therapist right in time for Dallas Toy Fair, which is awesome. He saw me like 4 times, maybe 5 times top. And the last session with him was a week before flying into Dallas Toy Fair, October 2019. And Dallas Toy Fair is another joyride, like very great stories there. First off, I got on the plane still with panic attacks. Like I was cured, but I was still like sensitive with the topic. And of course, it was like the night that the airport closed because there was a storm, like the biggest storm ever seen in the last 10 years. So I spent 4 hours sitting inside of the plane without being able to actually get out of the plane or actually fly to somewhere. I was just sitting there. And I remember the captain telling us, nothing to worry here, folks. We just have some mechanical flaws. And I was like, mechanical? What? Nah, get me off this plane. I'm not flying anywhere. Like, I don't want to know anything. And I remember there was a lady sitting next to me and she was like, are you okay? Are you okay? Why do I look like I'm okay? Like, we're not going to fly anywhere. I have a daughter and I'm leaving my daughter behind. And what happened if we die on the air? So that was a really great panic attack until a lovely, how do you say, the girls that are on the plane, that the steward, is that?
Flight attendant.
In the flight attendant thing. She come to me with a little pill, like a magical pill. And she say, hey, I have this. It's going to keep you sleeping all the way to Miami. Do you want it? Oh, yes, I want it. Like, just bring it on. So I don't remember what happened after. I just remember
you just took the red pill
at Dallas. I don't even exactly. It was like I don't even remember like going from Miami to Dallas. I just remember getting into Dallas, and of course, my carry-on, which by the way I was carrying it on with me, and they made me. The flight was oversold, so I had to let go my carry-on and I had to check in, and I had all the samples on that carry-on. And Toy Fair started the next day. And of course, I got into the airport. And what did I lose? My carry-on with all my samples. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I cannot catch a break with this. So panic moment at the airport. I think that I'm probably not allowed to enter the airport anymore at Dallas. Like, they see me coming and they will probably run another way. I was like, I'm not going anywhere until you get my little rebels here with me. You do not get how important this is. Like, and finally they found the suitcase. But funny thing, again on Facebook scrolling, I see an ad from Women in Toys, which I had absolutely no clue what the heck was that. But I signed up to Women in Toys. I became a member. And there was at Dallas an event that's Women in Toys. How was it called? Women Empowerment Day. That was the name of the event. And they brought us the possibility to different inventors, women, to meet with the buyers from Walmart, Spin Master, Hasbro, like all the big players. And there I was like, hi. My name is Marjorie. Here I come with my little rebels. Like, hey, I come all the way from Europe. Nice to meet you. Oh, what do you do? I have no clue, but I have those rebels, which they are very cute, right? So that was pretty much my pitch. Like, I have this. This is the reason why I'm doing this. I think will be great fit for your product and everything. And that was basically my pitch to each one of the persons that I met at the Dallas Toy Fair. I got a bunch of feedback, very valuable feedback. They love the dolls, but of course, they kept asking, do this come with a book? And I was like, seriously? There's a gazillion books about women's out there. Like, do you think I need another book? But they made me realize that nobody knew who they were. Like, if they saw this on an aisle, it was just a plush doll, but it didn't have like the content behind it. So
one of those things when you're doing those pitches, especially a lot of the starter inventors, they don't listen to that feedback. They keep pushing through, and there's a lot of valuable things to be heard from those inventor relations people or the Toy Scouts that are looking for things. They see thousands, tens of thousands of ideas.
And they know what they want.
Oh, they do. And sometimes your idea is an awesome, perfect idea, but it just doesn't fit their line at the moment. But
exactly.
They're really good about giving feedback if you know how to listen.
I got like the most amazing feedback for real. Like, and I remember I was walking the fair and then I met with the people that actually developed my app after, which he's my friend. He's been my friend for years. And we just bumped in the fair and I was like, what are you doing here? And
we
talk about it.
What is this app? What is the app they developed?
So what we did is after getting all this feedback of asking for information, we developed an app that it's called Little Rebels app. And once you scan the dolls' faces, it gives you access to 2 to 3 minutes videos telling the story of that woman in question, like cartoonish lookalike. So Netflix, pay attention. Then you have ebooks telling the story, then a paint along feature, a trivia part of the question, and then augmented reality. So you can just click somewhere and the little 3D of Marie Curie will pop up and you can take a picture with it. And now we're working on adding machine learning to it so kids can actually talk to the 3D, which is pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
So there I was at Dallas Toy Fair. I went outside for a while with my dolls, all happy, work. And then some industry veteran, and don't even ask me the names because like Dory from Finding Nemo is my nickname, so I will never remember his name.
Just keep swimming.
For real. That's my nickname. I keep forgetting things. So I was outside and he was like, hey, and he was, and this is very important, like the very stereotype of what we Latin people see about American people in the news. Like when they say like that all Americans, and I'm not saying that I agree with this, just it's what they show us. That you are like square-headed, that you think inside of the box, which is pretty contradictory to actually what you keep doing. But there are like a bunch of people that are from.
I'm just wondering what shape my head is right now as a American.
Kind
North
of
American.
like, yeah, but it's kind of like a stereotype that you have of the Texan white male that thinks that women cannot do anything and they just go to the kitchen, women, and stuff like that. So it's kind of that stereotype. And I don't know why, but that's the picture, the image that I have of him. Maybe he's not like that, but that's how it sticks to my mind. And he was like, hey, what do you have? And I was like, no, super cute. Look, I have this doll and that doll. Aren't they cute? And then they did this. And by the way, by that time, I didn't have the app. I only had the plushes, because the app was developed later. And he looked at me with like a face of disgusting or something. And he was like, well, you came here with this? Nobody will ever buy a doll from you. Mark my words. And I looked at him and I said, I'm sorry. This is no princess. No, nobody's gonna buy this. Don't spend your time on this. And I remember looking at him and saying, you know what? I'll make you a bet. I'll bet you a lunch that by Toy Fair next year, like Dallas Toy Fair next year, you've been heard a lot about Little Rebels and you're going to eat your words. Done. Bet done.
That's all you needed is just a little bit of fire, a little bit of fan to that flame.
A little bit of Latina that has no idea what she's doing, but that's okay. That's another topic.
Don't make her get on another plane.
And then, well, I came back to Uruguay, and November, like 2 months after, the TEG Awards came in. And I got goosebumps every time I remember that moment, because I was by myself at my home. Like my daughter was out, everybody was out. I was all alone talking on the phone with the developer of the app, Jacinto.
This is the Chicago Toy and Game Fair, the People of Play TEGI Awards.
Exactly.
And they happened to be hosted that year. It was the 2020 awards. They were hosted because of all of the pandemic stuff. It was the first year that it wasn't in person. So everybody.
No, it was virtually.
Yeah,
it was
virtually.
amazing. Like for me, it was amazing. I was able to actually see the entire show and be there somehow. And then they started saying the nominees and they started showing all the categories and everything. And by the time they started reading like the winners, and they come to my category and they say, and the winner is, and I remember I was on the phone, Marjorie, and I was like, she's wrong. Like that was my very first reaction. She got it wrong. I had Jacinto on the other end calling me like crazy, like, congratulations, did you knew? And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? She's wrong.
You made a mistake.
So Imposter Syndrome made a very good appearance at that moment because I felt like such a fraud and I was like, this cannot be happening. It was like a very cool moment. And at the same time, an awakening moment for so many things inside me. Like, first off, recognizing imposter syndrome is something that I deal with every single day, because a normal person would say, yay, and not, she's wrong. Like, that's not the expected reaction when you win an award. And then a few months after, the Tori came in, and we were nominated for a plushie toy of the year, competing with Baby Yoda itself.
Oh,
so
it's
it was like
the god of toys.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
of course we didn't win, but I mean, Baby freaking Yoda.
Yeah.
And my little rebel, it was like,
that's tough.
Excuse me, I'm just coming here to see what's happening. And then Baby Yoda.
Even the little rebels want Baby Yoda's autograph. We know that.
And then just got nominated was such an honor. I couldn't believe it. It's like, I still think about it and I say, like, dude, in less than a year, I launched a company that was a Taggy winner and was actually competing with the god of toys. Literally. Like, what happened? So I went, remember the guy from Dallas?
Oh, yeah.
Cowboy. I went online. Yeah, he's my bestie now. I went online. And
so what happened?
I posted on LinkedIn the story of Dallas. I told the entire story. So I met this guy. He was outside. The post went viral. And this is a trend. I'm just getting to realize that. I don't know why, but every time I speak from my heart and I'm like very mad about something, that thing goes viral. And funny thing, like, again, I don't remember his name. So on the post, I was just like, I met a guy. I don't remember his name. Like, this was the situation. This what happened. This is what I told him. And this is what he told me. And you know what? Ha, in your face. I just want the taggies. Something like that. More or less. That was like the point of the post. But fun thing is, it went viral. And the guy actually answered on the comments saying that he owed me a lunch.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Congratulations. It's one thing to have an idea and just think about it, but for you just to be moving with an idea with the momentum and the fire behind it, things do just start happening.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, going back to the very start of Little Rebels, because you were coming out of Teddy Boo-Ho, the plushes of your daughter's drawings, but what was it really? What was the impetus of just starting Little Rebels? Like, where did that name come from that your professor didn't like?
I don't know where the name came from, actually. I think, and now that you're asking, like, I do know where the idea came from, and the idea again came from my daughter. Like, she's my inspiration to everything I do in my life. And I knew that I wouldn't be comfortable leaving a word behind me for her where no women were represented, where these voices weren't heard. I didn't think it was fair. And I thought to myself, I remember thinking to myself, like, so I'm not a scientist. I'm not like a big deal politic girl. I do know what I am not, but I do know that I cannot shut up. So I need to do something about this the way I know. So why not use like my previous expertise with plushies and just make something huggable that girls can actually walk around with it and show it and take it to the class and show and tell and spread that message. Because there's one thing that I knew for sure, and that I wanted to reach as many girls as possible so I could empower them and give them voices. That was one thing that I had no doubt and still have no doubt. Like, that's my mission. I want to empower as many girls as possible around there. That's why we partner with the Malala Fund as well. So there's like another way to keep motivating girls and helping them to get access to education worldwide.
Was your daughter like the sounding board and the play tester?
Exactly. I was going to go there. So everything I do, every idea I have, every drawing I have, every post I post on Instagram, not on LinkedIn, but on Instagram or Facebook, or every video I do, everything passes through her first. If she's not okay with what I'm doing, I do not post it. I do not share it. I do not do it. So all the women that I picked next to her. We read a bunch of stories of different women's, and I was like, so I like this and this one. What do you think? And she will say like, yes, I like this one, not this one. And then so we picked together the models as well. So she's pretty much my tester for everything. She's my tester for life, by the way, not only Little Rebels.
That's such a good lens. You know, I've got 4 children, and 2 of them are daughters, and just fighting for them becomes, really just something that becomes so important. And we had developed a game through Buffalo Games called Icons, where it was kind of on the same theme, where it was highlighting female heroes, but through card play, trying to couple the players along with those heroes. And every step of the way through there, I'm just thinking of all of the different times my daughters would be told no. And
yeah,
like that's fuel to any creative fire.
yes, completely. And funny you mentioned fire. Like the first tagline for Little Rebels was "We started the fire." That was Little Rebels. We started the fire, and that's something that I saw with my daughter at the very beginning. I was like, so, and she became a little activist, and I'm pretty sure Little Rebels had something to do with it, because she's now advocating for girls in Afghanistan, and she's 14.
There's going to be a doll of her one day.
And
mark my words, there will be a doll of her.
I do have her Little Rebel design for a special edition that it's going to come up at some point. It's drawn already. We have it, the design done.
Is there any sneak peek as to what else is coming through the Little Rebels?
Okay, so and I hope like Sarah Blakely, Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, AOC, if you're all listening, please contact me, because I want to do you. Like I want to make sure you become Little Rebels dolls in the near future, and it's not easy. So my idea is to expand the line, of course, and add some new models as soon as possible. I would love to have Simone Biles as well, if she's listening. By the way, can you reach me out, please? It's not easy to get in touch with you girls to be able to produce.
Well, here's the call to action. Everybody's got to share this with all of them.
No, I would love to wear RBG. I don't know. There's so many women out there. They're outstanding. And with the Olympics, we had so much brave women that actually were like Simone, for example, that were able to stand up on their feet and say, okay, that's enough. I can do all the way through here. And that needs to be enough. And I think that's a message, like a very powerful message. And we need to go outside and deliver it. So I need to expand my dolls line.
I think that imposter syndrome you were talking about earlier, for everybody that's competing, for people that are coming up with ideas, we are living in such a cropped, collated world today with like Facebook, where we're only getting everybody's best, and we don't get to hear about these like the mental health breakdowns, the panic attacks, the blood, sweat, and tears that really go into every one of these, or to so many different ideas, and the rejections. That there's no victory without a battle.
Are a must. Yeah. I would say that like whenever people ask me, what will you tell like people that it's out there trying to become entrepreneurs, what will be your first advice? First off is go ahead and do it. Second off is make sure you have a lot of wine that you're going to need. And then get a support system. Like it's a very lonely path, entrepreneurship in general. And it's very hard for people that are not entrepreneurs to actually understand the day-to-day for an entrepreneur, because you can go from waking up with the best email ever saying that you got nominated to something or that some company wants to buy your idea or whatever, and then 10 minutes later you get like a bill about $1 gazillion that you need to pay, and then you just went bankrupt in like 15 minutes of your morning and you didn't even had your coffee yet. So, and that's the entire day. It's like a roller coaster of emotions. So it's very hard for people that are not on the roller coaster to understand how hard it is to keep it sane during the entire process. Like, it's very exhausting. So reach out for help, ask for help. Like, don't be like myself that I'm a Virgo and I need to control everything and everything depends on me. And please don't talk to me like I have everything solved, which is clearly not the case, but I swear to God, I have everything under control.
That's key to have people that can speak into your life that can call you up and at least mention when something's going wrong.
Especially when you're fighting, like I was talking with another podcaster the other day, and we were talking about imposter syndrome, and I was like, I know deep down that there's a bunch of things that I wasn't able yet to achieve because I'm always afraid to send that last email. So maybe I'm negotiating a deal and I go all the way through and I reach out, I introduce myself, I present the product, they got interest, everything. And they tell me, okay, send me your deck. So that deck is never sent. There's something that I keep sabotaging myself and I don't send the last email. And it's like one email, you send 50. And at the last moment, it's like, oh my God, should I send it? No, better not.
Send it. Yeah, that's the fear of failure. Once things are moving, they seem to catch fire. So if you could go back and talk to your 14-year-old self, like with what you know now, like what do you tell 14-year-old you?
I would say, first off, all those boys that are picking on you because they find it funny, they're all losers today, so no worry about them. That's the difference. They're uglies and losers, so relax. This is just a phase. I would say to be more confident and to have the value to speak up for what I want. Because like I feel like I've been my entire life under some kind of big shadow or a big, I don't know how to explain that. I wasn't able to speak my voice every time I wanted to. And I guess that's because we were raised under a different society. Like I remember being little, like you wanted to get involved in the conversation and adults would say like, this is not for kids or get off the room or this, you wouldn't understand. And I see that with my daughter today, that I'm all the opposite. And sometimes we are like with my mom, my daughter and myself talking and my mom's face starts to like flipping out when we're talking to certain topics. And I'm like, relax. If she's old enough to ask, she's old enough to know the answer. Like otherwise she wouldn't be asking. But growing up under that kind of society, I think it put us down a lot. So I would say to my 14-year-old, like, go ahead, defy them, talk to them, like raise your voice, don't be afraid, and trust your instincts. For the love of God, just trust your instincts.
That's vital stuff.
That'll make my life so much easier.
Well, trust your instincts. Send that email.
Send that email. Send that final email. Yeah,
close the deal. This has been awesome.
So inspiring.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I'll go out there and battle harder.
Are you ready to fight?
Yeah. But before we go, wanted to throw just a couple of random rapid fire questions at you off of the hidden roll die.
Yeah, so much fun. Go ahead.
And so
I've been waiting like the entire podcast for this part of the
So Branson's going to go ahead and roll for you. And we've tailored the questions to match up with a little bit more with your brand. And so we've got a star here. Of your characters, who is that you relate with the most?
That's a very good question. People keep asking me that. And so I have this situation. Like I always say Malala. That's always the first one that I say. Like, I think I love her the most because, I mean, she got a bullet on her head and she's up there talking and fighting the Taliban. It doesn't get more badass than this. Like, I want to be like her. And that's something that I keep thinking to myself. But my daughter told me that every time I have to show off my products and talk about Little Rebels, I always grab Marie Curie. I never grab Malala, which is completely contradictory. So I would say I'm a mix of both of them. Is that's fair to say?
Yeah. That's absolutely fair.
There are my 4 daughters. Like I have 5 daughters now. I have 4 little rabbits. So.
All right. What do we got here? The $sign. If money were no object, what would you build next?
With Little Rebels?
Yeah.
Wow. I would have a TV show with all the rebels fighting like, and actually, again, Nickelodeon, Netflix, if you're hearing my emails at the bottom, you can reach me out. I would love to have like a TV show in where they're all friends and they all get together and they all like Malala and Marie Curie, it doesn't matter if she's dead or not, they're all friends fighting together against today's world's most concerns, either climate change or gender inequality and anything, kind of like the Super Powerpuff Girls meets Little Rebels. And then maybe a movie, and I don't know. I want to do so much.
No, that's good. That's
awesome.
I wanted to make movies with so many ideas.
I know, right? But I think this would be so cool. Like, I think about a movie and I say, can you imagine, like, I don't know, Greta Thunberg coming super angry, like, girls, you have no idea what happened today. I was at strike at school, and look, and I don't know, I can't even think about the script, and I think it's too fun to do. I would love to.
All right, last one here. All right, the sword. Who could you have go to battle for you? Like, if you were to pick one icon, one little rebel out there that could go out there and you could add to the line, who would it be?
Leaving my daughter behind, because my daughter will be my very first answer, but I don't want her to battle for me. Wow, that's a very cool question. I would say RBG maybe. Yeah. I think she had like, or AOC as well. AOC, it's kind of like the modern RBG somehow. I feel like she's going through the same steps in a way, but RBG, it's kind of, she englobes so many things. It's like wisdom and resilience and strength, and she has so many qualities that, I will live my life in her hands. And yeah, just go ahead, do whatever you want. I trust you.
Well, again, thank you for just being so transparent and just putting the story out there.
No, thank you guys for having me.
It's really what we need to hear when it comes to anybody that's just trying to get an idea, whether it's toy a game, just any idea, any rejection, and just being able to get back up and keep fighting.
It's not easy, but it's worth it.
Excited to see
That's for sure.
Excited to see what comes out next. And again, thank you for being on Hidden Roll.
Thank you guys for having me. I had so much fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye.
This has been Hidden Roll, the brains behind your favorite toys, games, and all things play. If you like what we're doing, the best way you can support us is to share us with your favorite brains. Please thumbs up, leave a review, and follow Hidden Roll Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. You can also sign up for our newsletter at www.hiddenrollpodcast.com for a monthly sneak peek at our upcoming content. That's Hidden Roll, ROLE, podcast.com. Our episodes are available on all major listening platforms, or if you'd like to see our beautiful faces, all of our content is available to watch on YouTube. If you know of someone who would be a great fit to appear in our podcast, or if you'd like to learn the story behind any toy or game, send us an inquiry at hiddenrollpodcast.com/suggestions. Or let us know on our social media. We love to hear your feedback and ideas. Once again, special thanks to Pop, People of Play, the one-stop hub for all toy and game inventors. Visit www.peopleofplay.com to learn more. This podcast is also made possible by the continued support of the brains who never grew up, inventors of play, Streamline Design. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.